guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be me answering all of your frequently asked questions about middle school. So basically a middle school advice video because so at the beginning of June I did a video titled Things I Wish I Knew Before Going into Middle School as an 8th grade graduate because I'm about to go into high school in like 2 days when I am filming this. And so after I graduated middle school, I thought it would be a great idea to share like the knowledge I gathered throughout middle school with anyone out there who would need like advice on middle school, if that makes any sense at all. And that video, it literally got the most views out of like any other video I've done, and I was like, oh wow, a lot of people out there need middle school advice. And so I thought to myself, like, I really want to do another video all about middle school advice, but I was like, oh, I already did a middle school advice video. So I wanted to hear about your guys' questions about middle school that maybe I didn't get to during that video, or just questions that are still like hanging in your mind after watching that video. And even if you didn't watch that video and you're like a completely new viewer to my channel, then this is also going to be a whole middle school advice video, so you can watch that to get some middle school advice. I posted on my community tab, hey guys, I'm thinking of filming a video where I answer your questions about middle school, anything to do with middle school, so if you have any questions, just leave them here, reply to this post, and I will try to make a video out of it. Thank you guys. And you guys left so many questions. Like, honestly, I'm so grateful that I have so many people out there who like make these kinds of videos that I make possible. Before we get into this video, please like this video and comment down below why you're here. Like, if you're a returning viewer and you were one of the people who left questions and you already watched my other middle school advice video, or if you are a completely new viewer to my channel and you just want some middle school advice because you're about to go into middle school or something like that. And also please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more teen lifestyle videos and advice videos. I've done so many other advice and tips videos, like life hacks videos, all that kind of stuff, so subscribe if you want to see those. And yeah, I don't want to talk anymore. I want to answer your guys' frequently asked questions about middle school. So let's get into the video. So I have my computer right here and I'm gonna be reading off your guys' questions in no particular order, like at all, just basically what they are showing up like on my screen. I might not be able to get to like all your questions because there are literally 171 comments, but a lot of the questions are like repeats or like similar, so I'm just gonna kind of cover everything and try to answer as many questions as I can. I'm seeing that you guys left multiple questions in each comment that you left, so I'm just gonna try to answer them all. So for the first bunch of questions, this person left a lot of questions. So the first one is, do you get tests frequently, like every week? So it honestly depends on the middle school. Like, honestly, all of what I'm gonna say depends on your school, but for me, tests were given like every month and we had like quizzes every week, if that makes any sense.
Do you not hear me trying to film a video?
Quizzes count for less than like tests. Like, quizzes are to kind of monitor your progress along the way of like what you're learning, and then the test is like the really big evaluation. You get homework on the weekends. So again, it depends on the school, but for me, yeah, you always get homework like on the weekends, even though like I hate that so much and you shouldn't have like work on your break. I usually got my homework done really fast, and in middle school it's usually not a lot. Like at my school it really wasn't a lot of homework. Do you have any tips on how to be calm and not stressed? No, because I am not calm and I am stressed. What should you do if you don't have any classes with your friends? So honestly, I only had like 2 classes that I had like friends in my class, but honestly, I see it as a good thing, like an opportunity to meet more people, because then you can spend like lunch and your breaks with your friends, and then you can like make new friends in the classes that you don't have your actual friends in, like your already established friends. So honestly, just try talking to people, like conversation starters, like, hey, can I borrow a pencil? Hey, that shirt looks really good on you, or whatever. Like, just reach out and don't worry about your friends not being in too many of your classes. Do you get pop quizzes? Okay, so this didn't like happen to me. Like, I know it's a very stereotypical thing, like,
oh, you have a pop quiz.
I mean, it did happen to me in 6th grade, like with my history teacher, but she usually gave us like a warning before it happened, so it wasn't like a real pop quiz. Next group of questions. Is changing in the locker room really that awkward? So honestly, it will take a little getting used to. Like, I was so terrified because I've just always been kind of insecure, and so when I found out that like for gym you have to change in front of all your classmates, I was like terrified. But honestly, after like the first day or even like week, it gets so natural. And like, honestly, I said this in my last middle school advice video, but everyone is so focused on themselves and you wouldn't even realize it. And I have to like remember this for myself in high school, but everyone is so focused on themselves and what they look like that they really won't care about you. It's really not that awkward. How do you stay with the right crowd? I honestly love this question so much. Honestly, as a 14-year-old, I still am figuring it out, like how to know who the people you're spending time with and everything are like right. But I think one big thing that I learned is that a friend, like a real right person and like staying with the right crowd, they're not gonna like push you you to do stuff that you're not comfortable with, if that makes any sense. Like even throughout the pandemic, like this is something that I've gone through. A lot of like people I knew kind of wanted to push me to like go out and not social distance and stuff like that, and like not wear masks and like go to dangerous settings. And those like aren't my true like friends, like not the right crowd. Basically people who support what you want to do and people who don't push you to do stuff that like you feel uncomfortable with, that's the right crowd to be in. And that goes for everything, like vaping, drinking, like don't feel pressured to do any of that. And if you're around people who like pressure you to do all that stuff, then just get away from them. Okay, so the next group of questions, how do you make friends? Okay, so honestly I still struggle with this. Like basically, okay, so when I went into middle school, I was the new kid in the district. Everyone had gone to school together since kindergarten. Everyone already had a friend, and I was just like I didn't have any friends. But honestly, this is something that you might not believe, but friends will come naturally, and they'll come even easier if you like really just talk to people. I found that complimenting people like really helps. Like it helps even for me. Like I automatically want to be friends with like anyone who compliments me because I love flattery. Just being super nice to people, super polite, respectful, friendly, then friends will just come naturally to you, I promise. How to not get into bad friendships. My mom has given me this piece of advice and I'm really following it, and it is to tread lightly in the beginning. Like don't go full force into like,
oh, you're my best friend now and I'm gonna share all my secrets with you.
Don't share anything really that personal like in the beginning of a friendship. Don't reveal any of your deepest, darkest secrets that like you wouldn't want the whole school to know, because honestly it's sad, but you really can't trust people like when you first meet them. Be very cautious in the beginning and slowly open up, and that should help you avoid like bad friendships. What is your opinion on middle school dating? Okay, so I like this question and I touched on this in my middle school advice video, like the other one that I did. My opinion is that if you're like dating someone, like you're going for ice cream or like holding hands or something, like going to the movies, very like G-rated like stuff, because honestly when you're in middle school you're like a preteen to like an early teenager, and in my opinion that's like way too young to do like advanced stuff, if you know what I'm saying. And so like just be careful and like make sure that you're in the relationship for the right reasons. But honestly I've heard that like middle school dating, it's just like not worth it, and the relationship or like the dating will probably end in like a week or two. I never dated in middle school and I'm completely fine with that. How do you stay out of drama? Don't talk about anyone behind anyone's back. If you're with someone who's talking about someone behind their back, say, hey, maybe we could talk about something else, like this doesn't really feel nice. Stay on everyone's good side and I promise you'll avoid drama. Like honestly, drama usually happens because like stories get twisted or because someone says something mean about one other person. I was never in drama because like I never talked about anyone behind their back. I just like spilled all the tea to my mom because like she doesn't go to my school and she's not gonna like spread rumors. Just find someone to like spill all that tea to that like doesn't go to your school so that you won't get into drama, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, so this group of questions is like all about friends, and I already touched on some of this, but I'm gonna answer some of the other questions. Like, okay, so what to do if you feel left out of your friends? This has happened to me before. I totally understand the feeling of being left out. The best thing you can do is talk to them, confront them about it. I know it's so scary, but just asking like, hey, you don't seem to be spending so much time with me anymore. You seem like you're going over to like those people more. It's really making me feel sad and I just want to know like if I did something wrong to like offend you or something like that. Just really being open and communicative. It's scary, but it's what you have to do if you want to like figure out why you're feeling left out. All right, next group of questions. Does middle school give you a lot of homework? So again, it depends on the school, and for me, I didn't have that much homework in middle school. I feel like it's gonna be a lot different in high school. I feel like I'm gonna have a ton of homework in high school, but for middle school there wasn't that much homework. It was more like classwork. Like there was a ton of classwork. Advice for keeping everything calm and not rushed for classes. My biggest piece of advice for this is to just keep calm. Even though you asked about like keeping everything calm, keep yourself calm. Do deep breathing. Make sure that everything that you need to like go in the hallway for is packed up before you leave class, so you can just swing your backpack over your shoulder, go to your locker really quick, get the stuff you need. Just be very strategic and plan out like, okay, so after math class I'm gonna go to my locker and then I'm gonna drink water on my way to science class or something like that. Just have a plan. Okay, next group of questions. Should I buy one notebook for each class? So your teachers will recommend to you like what you need, and usually you'll get a supply list, but you can just ask your teachers this like personally. If you find that taking a lot of notes helps you, then yeah, totally get one notebook for each class. Just make sure they're like thin notebooks so that like your backpack isn't like crammed with paper and notebooks and spirals and all of that. Are the lockers / PE lockers hard to open? So for my middle school, it's not like this at my high school, but for middle school we had to bring our own lock. So make sure to buy a good quality lock and not one that like you spell out letters with. Like buy one that's an actual combination lock. and once you figure out how to use it, it's gonna be so easy, I promise. But if your school comes with built-in locks, you might need some help at first, so like even the janitor can help with lockers sometimes, so like ask for help if you're having trouble with that. Should I bring my own lunch or eat there? So for me, my mom always packed me my lunch and I'm so grateful for that. Like some days, of course, when we were really rushed, I bought my lunch at school, but honestly, it depends on the school, but cafeteria food is like kind of gross, if you know what I'm saying. So if you have time like the night before, just pack yourself a good lunch so that you're not feeling nauseous in your classes that you have like after lunch, if you know what I'm saying. What's the best part of the day? Okay, so I really like this question. For me in middle school, the best part of the day was like honestly lunch, just like hanging out with friends and everything like that, and because like I'm a glutton for food. What is a good list of school supplies I need? So for like basic school supplies, like school supplies that your teachers couldn't really like give out a list for, I would recommend some loose leaf paper, a folder to carry home important papers, pencils, pens, some lead if you're having mechanical pencils, erasers, highlighters, just like the basic necessities for school supplies. Okay, so I really like this group of questions. How do you be unique but not stand out too much? So this is such a good question, and I know that it's so scary to like want to stand out in school. My mom has told me before that like everyone when they're young buys like a black backpack and like a black pencil case just to really blend in, and I totally understand that. Just really like finding out what in that school can help make you different. Like for example, I was on the debate team and part of the newspaper club, and I felt like that was different. Put yourself out there, but like not too much. Like don't be so open about your life with like everyone, because even a little piece of information can like make everyone kind of jealous or like spread rumors about you, if that makes any sense at all. How should you deal with bad period cramps in school? So some tips I have for you are taking some pain medication before you leave for school. I've said this before on my channel, like in my period videos that I've done, but like if you're under 18, make sure that a parent or guardian gives you that medication and says it's okay to use. And if you're over 18, make sure that a doctor approves you taking this medication, because medication's no joke, guys. But medication, eating some chocolate like right before you go to class, that can really help ease cramps. And also just kind of like stretching in your desk chair, like not so obviously. How to time manage and stop procrastinating, which I've struggled with forever. I am so with you on that. At the same time as procrastinating though, I've always just wanted to like get my work done. What's really helped for me is just imagining how much better I'm gonna feel once I do the work, like imagining how I'm gonna feel afterward and really looking forward. Okay, so this group of questions is basically like asking just about middle school in general. Is middle school difficult? Is there a lot of pressure in middle school? Is middle school fun? Middle school is honestly just a time that's gonna be different from elementary school. It's not difficult if you have the right mindset, like socially and academically, and there's not much pressure. Like I know of course it'll depend on the school and the teacher, but there's not that much pressure because you're honestly so young, and it's definitely fun. I mean, you start discovering yourself more and more when you go into middle school, so not everything's fun about it, but like most of it's fun. Yeah, I'm going into 8th grade and the volleyball coach asked me to play on JV and varsity, but I'm also taking honors classes, so just any tips on time management? Just making a plan, sticking to a solid plan. Like okay, when I get home I'm gonna do my English honors homework, then I'm gonna go to practice, then I'm gonna come home and do science homework, then I'm gonna eat dinner with my family, finish any homework I have left for the night. Just really mapping out and making a schedule has always helped me so much. Okay, next group of questions. What are the most difficult classes? So again, it depends on the school, but the hardest class for me was honestly like social studies. You just start to learn so much more like complex stuff, like just more complex geographical stuff and like ancient stuff about medieval times, Mesopotamian times. I can't even say the word right. Is keeping friends in middle school hard? My answer to that is not if they're the right friends. What's a good study method? Honestly, for me is taking breaks. Even if you don't want to, make sure that you take breaks so that you don't burn out. Like study for a half hour and then take a 10-minute break, study for another half hour, take a 10-minute break. I'm going into middle school, so this vid would be amazing. One question I have is how much did your friends change, and is the lunchroom scary? Also, did you do any sports? My friends honestly didn't really change, but that's because I've never been like a really social person. Like I never had very many friends. We of course changed, like everyone changed, especially like over the pandemic and everything, and I actually found myself making more friends and like meeting new people through the friends I already had throughout middle school. Also, the lunchroom really isn't scary. Just like stay away from the rowdy kids and like try not to get into food fights. And I did not do any sports. Right before the pandemic I tried out for the track team, but then like the pandemic showed up and shut everything down, so I never got to like do it. But I wish I had participated in sports more than I did, so if it's an option at your school to do sports, definitely do them. Okay, so this next group of questions, I already answered the one about homework. You also asked what happens if you get your period at school. I've already actually made a whole back to school period tips video. You can go check that out right here if you want some more advice on what happens if you get your period at school and just like dealing with a period when you go back to school. But I like the question, when did you start wearing makeup? In 6th grade, I was starting to like break out and get pimples more, so I started wearing like concealer on my pimples and like under my eyes, but that was really it. And then online school hit, but I feel like in 8th grade I would have worn more like mascara and maybe some blush, but like honestly not too heavy makeup till you go into high school in my opinion. Next group of questions, is middle school strict on what you wear? So it depends on the school, but basically middle schools just don't want to see like any undergarments or like bare stomachs or like really ripped jeans. How to to deal with drama. I never like really got caught in drama, but I know people who did. So the best thing you can do is walk away and ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist, cut off the people you're having drama with if they're like really toxic. Just like walk away. That's my biggest piece of advice. You'll be so much happier, I promise. Tips on relationships. I don't know if you're referring to like romantic relationships or friend relationships, but honestly being open and like communicating with the person you're in the relationship with is the best piece of advice that I can give you. Next group of questions. How were you when you had to use the locker room for the first week? So I was a nervous wreck. I like packed a whole bag full of like perfume and deodorant and like extra clothes and all of that. But after the first day I realized that it's like really okay and everyone's self-conscious and you don't have to worry. Were you ever interested in dating? I don't know how to answer this. Like I wanted to have a crush and like a boyfriend and all of that. Like I feel like everyone really wants that. But the guys at my school were like really stupid, so I wasn't really interested in dating them, no. What was the hardest thing for you to do? Honestly, this is a really good question. In middle school, the hardest thing for me to do was stay motivated. How much do you think everyone changes mentally / physically? This is another great question. Honestly, you're gonna change a lot in middle school. Like honestly, going into 6th grade with the people in my middle school and now seeing everyone going into high school, it's a huge change. What was the most difficult grade for you? This is a great question. I would have to say 7th grade. And since I'm on TikTok a lot and like YouTube, I think that anyone who's gone through middle school can agree that 7th grade was like really hard. I'm going into middle school, so was it hard to transition from going to elementary school to middle school? Because you have to change classes, you get lockers, etc. It's definitely a transition, but I wouldn't say it's a hard transition. Like of course it depends on the person and how easy you adapt to things. I just feel like it's a very big transition, but it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, you might not be used to it at first, but you'll definitely adapt quickly. Are you allowed to have snacks in the classroom? For my school, it really depended on the teacher. Like honestly, all these rules really just depend on the teacher. How long does it take to pretty much memorize your classes and where they are? Honestly, for me, it took around 1 to 2 weeks. So this person asked about friends, but I already answered that. So I'm gonna answer their questions, studying tips, how to get good grades, and how to not fall behind. So for the whole academic aspect, just really staying focused, having a goal in mind, like, okay, if I get this done, it's gonna lead me to blank. Like for example, if I study for this science test, then I will do well on the science test and then I won't fall behind. Like just really having a purpose behind every single homework assignment that you do really motivates you and helps you to not fall behind. Also just planning and making a schedule for all the work that you have to do really helps. Honestly, I feel like I'm gonna be by myself for the whole 6th grade. I developed really bad social anxiety and I'm an introvert. I feel like it will be hard for me to make friends. Any tips? So just not forcing yourself is honestly the best piece of advice that I can give you. Just accepting the fact that you might be shyer than other people and just letting people come into your life naturally is the best thing that you can do. And find other people who are more introverted, because there's always gonna be like other shy kids in your school. Scenario: what if someone is being really mean to me? What do? Do I tell or let it be? This is a great question, and it honestly happened to me like a lot. Like sometimes people were mean to me, and it depends on the extent of how mean someone's being. Like if they're just calling you like a jerk or like ugly or an idiot or something like that, just kind of let it be and ignore it. I know that that person's probably going through something hard like to make them speak out to you like that, but if it's like real meanness, like something that's like really getting under your skin, really bothering you, anything that makes you feel really uncomfortable and violated, definitely tell. Is it easy to pass tests? If you have been paying attention in class, yes, it's easy to pass tests. I love this question so much. It's literally making me laugh out loud. How weird are the boys? Need to know if I need pepper spray. Probably won't need pepper spray because they're not that bad, but they are pretty weird. So honestly, like don't think about dating any of them till like high school is my personal advice. You have a lot of projects that you have to do in front of the class. It depends on the middle school, but you'll probably have a lot of group projects. You'll probably have a lot of like assignments that you have to do that like have to do with projects, because I remember like in middle school always having to ask my mom to like go buy me a poster board or something. So yeah, you probably will have a lot of presentations, but again, it depends on the school. Do you copy and write down the teacher's notes, or do you have to on your own? If you do, any tips on writing notes and how to make notes that have all the info you need? So I've always been the kind of note taker that literally writes every single thing down, so I wish I could give you like really good advice, but I'm gonna try my best. So honestly, I used to just write down everything the teacher was saying just in case, but I know that's like pretty bad. So write down the stuff that's like really important. I would stick to who, what, when, where, and how. What do you wear on the first day? So honestly, wear what you love, because it's the time to like just love fashion and everything and express yourself. But like if you really don't know what to wear, I would recommend just some jeans and a nice new shirt. Everyone is so focused on like their first day of school outfit, they're really not gonna care about your first day of school outfit. Is middle school as bad as people say it is? It's not stereotypically like in the movies or like on YouTube and TikTok bad. It's just new and confusing, and you'll adapt really quickly and it'll start to feel so normal. So no, it's really not as bad as everyone says it is, I promise. And the last question that I am going to answer is about popularity, because it's something I haven't touched on yet in this video, and it's honestly something I really wanted to bring up. And this person asked, does being popular in middle school matter? Like, do people make fun of you if you aren't cool / popular? popular? This is a question that kind of honestly, even though you might not think, relates to all of middle school. If someone makes fun of you for not being in a certain status, or for not adapting to like what everyone does, or for like not being a part of a certain crowd, accept that they're not good people. Being popular in middle school is such a concept, it's such a theory. Like honestly, all the cliques and groups are not stuff that actually matters in life. The most important thing is being happy with the status you're in and making sure that no one's like pushing you to be in that status. Just kind of letting things be for honestly everything to do with middle school. If something you're doing is making you happy, do it. If something you're doing is making you sad or like miserable, drop it. Make sure that you are in stuff for the right reasons. And if someone makes fun of you for like doing something that they don't think is cool, then tell them they can leave. Honestly, I'm trying to develop this mindset for high school where if anyone tries to like be rude to me about something or disagrees with me on something that they don't think is cool, the door's there. Like, people think that they have such an impact on your life, and you might think that like people who like think something of you like,
oh, that person's not popular. Oh, suddenly I'm not gonna be cool for the rest of my life because Brittany told me that I'm not cool.
I still know that like I'm gonna follow along with like, oh god, what if I'm not cool? Cause like I'm still so young myself. But honestly, when I'm like actually I realize that it really doesn't matter what people think about you. Just really staying true to yourself, knowing what you want and what you like, and knowing who you are, and just standing firmly on that. It's the best thing you can do if you want to survive middle school. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. I really hope that through this video I was able to help anyone out there watching this who is either about to go into middle school or is like in middle school already but just wants some advice on middle school. I feel like I really covered everything about middle school, and this video was honestly probably really long. Like I've been filming this video for like an hour or something, and obviously this video is like not gonna be an hour long, but sorry if this video is like really long. I just wanted to cover everything. As I said, I did another like really long middle school advice video that did like really well for me, and if you guys want to go check that one out because it's like the original middle school advice video that I did, then you can go check that out down below. I'll link it down below. Thank you guys so much, like all of you who asked the questions that you asked, because of course without you this video would not be possible. And I'm also sorry if I didn't get to everyone's questions. Like honestly, the reason sometimes in my Q&As I don't get to everyone's questions is because they're like repeat questions, or they're questions that like are kind of personal, and like I don't know if I should like put them in my video. But if I didn't get to your question and you still want it answered, then please leave it down below in the comments, because I really want to help as many of you guys as I can out. And also, if you're just watching this and like you didn't leave a question for this video but like you have another question about middle school, please leave it down below, because I would be so happy to help. Please keep in mind that I might be like a little busy myself going into high school and everything, but I'll try to help as many of you guys out as possible. Before you leave, please like this video, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below middle school is going to be great for me, because I want to give you guys some positivity, because I feel like if you were clicking on this video you might be a little anxious or nervous about going into middle school, and that is so completely normal, but you're gonna do so much better in middle school than you think. I believe in all of you watching this. I'm staring in the lens of my camera right now, but I know I'm also staring at tons of viewers watching this about to go into middle school, and I'm telling all of you out there that you are going to do great in middle school. And also please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more teen lifestyle videos, back to school videos. And also there were a lot of period questions under the community tab post that I left, and I didn't really answer a lot of them because I've done so many period tips videos in the past, and I did already, as I said, a whole back to school period tips video. I will link some period tips videos that I've done in the past that I think you might like, including my back to school one down below, so you can go check those out as well. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I love you guys. Bye!